Welcome dear students, welcome to our today's online class. In our today's online class, we will be studying more about electrolysis, and our objective today will be, at the end of this class, we will be able to understand the electrolytic dissociation and ionization, the two different processes involved in electrolysis. So let us start our today's class. Let's first try to understand the process called electrolytic dissociation. Let's see its definition first. The process due to which an ionic compound dissociates into free ions in aqueous solution or the fused state is called electrolytic dissociation. Let's take ionic compound, because in the definition it is mentioned that this electrolytic dissociation takes place in ionic compounds. So let's take the simplest ionic compound, sodium chloride. So sodium chloride is an ionic compound because it is made up of sodium cation and chloride anion, and in its solid state there exists a strong electrostatic force of attraction between these oppositely charged ions, due to which there are no free ions, because the ions are held very strongly towards each other, as a result of which there is no electrical conductivity, because to be able to conduct electricity there has to be free mobile ions. Hence, ionic compounds in their solid state, they are bad conductors of electricity. But when this ionic compound is added in water, they form an aqueous solution. Now, when the ionic compound sodium chloride is added in water to form aqueous solution, we know water as a polar compound, which means it has poles of opposite charges, but the charge is very, very small. That's why here you see delta plus and delta minus. Delta plus means small charge and delta positive charge, and delta minus means small negative charge. So since water molecule is a polar covalent compound, this water molecule, from its positive end, it will attract the negative part of sodium chloride compound. In the same way, the negative part, the slight negative part which is there on oxygen atom of water, it will also pull this sodium cation. So there is a pull force exerting between sodium cation and oxygen of water, and in the same way there is a pull force attraction between positively charged hydrogen atoms of water and chloride ion, as a result of which the bond between sodium and chlorine or chloride ion, it breaks, and free sodium cation and free chloride ion gets formed in the aqueous solution. Now in the aqueous solution there are free ions such as sodium cation and chloride ion, and it is because of this presence of free mobile ions in aqueous solution, sodium chloride aqueous solution conducts electricity and hence acts as an electrolyte. In another case, if the same sodium chloride salt is in molten state, when can we bring sodium chloride into its molten state? If we provide heat energy to it. So when we heat the sodium chloride which is in solid state, due to that heat the sodium chloride changes its state from solid to molten state or a liquid form. Now when heat energy is provided, the bond between sodium and chlorine or chloride ion gets broken, due to which we get free sodium cation and free chloride anion. And it is due to this free ions, now molten sodium chloride also acts as a good electrolyte and hence conducts electricity. So this process of separating or dissociating ions in aqueous solution or infused state of ionic compound is called electrolytic dissociation. Now let's try to understand what do we mean by ionization. Let's see its definition. The process by which polar covalent compounds are converted into ions in aqueous solution is called ionization. So we are talking about polar covalent compounds and which are converted into ions. That process is called ionization. Let's take simple polar covalent compound, which is hydrogen chloride. So hydrogen chloride is a polar covalent compound. It is a covalent compound because this compound is formed by sharing of electrons. But still, due to slight difference in electronegativity between hydrogen and chlorine, hydrogen acquires small positive charge, whereas chlorine acquires small, very small negative charge. But they are not ions. They are the atoms which combines with each other by sharing of electrons. And I hope you remember, sharing of electron does not produce ions. Only transfer of electron, loss or gain of electron produces ions. So here there are no ions. Hence, due to absence of ions, the polar covalent compounds are bad electrolytes or they do not conduct electricity. Now, in gaseous form, this hydrogen chloride does not have any ions. Hence, gaseous hydrogen chloride is bad conductor of electricity. But when this same hydrogen chloride is added in water, then it forms aqueous solution. Now, in the water molecule is also polar in nature. So the slight negative charge on the oxygen atom of water molecule, it exerts a pull force on the hydrogen atom of hydrogen chloride because it has slight positive charge. So due to this electrostatic force of attraction between oxygen atom of water and hydrogen atom of hydrogen chloride, the hydrogen atom gets pulled towards water, forming hydronium ion and separates chloride ion. So as a result of which, we see over here now we have two separate ions. And due to this presence of free ions in the aqueous solution, now the hydrogen chloride in its aqueous solution acts as a good electrolyte and hence conducts electricity. So we have to note here that ionization process takes place in polar covalent compounds, okay? And it is the process of producing ions. It is the process of producing ions, not the process of separation of ions. It is the process of producing ions from those compounds which do not have ions in the beginning. So with this concept, let us try to differentiate or compare ionization and dissociation in a tabular form. So on left hand side we'll write ionization and on the right hand side we'll put dissociation. So let's put the first difference. Ionization is the formation of positively or negatively charged ions formation from molecules which are not initially in the ionic state. Whereas dissociation is the separation of positively or negatively charged ions from molecules which are already present in the ionic compound. So the ionic ions are already present and those ions are in combined state. So the process of separating or dissociating those combined ions in its aqueous or molten state is the dissociation. The second difference can be ionization process takes place in polar covalent compounds such as hydrogen chloride, carbonic acid, ammonium hydroxide, etc. They are all polar covalent compounds. Whereas dissociation takes place in ionic compounds because there are already ions present in those compounds, okay, and they just need to be separated. For example, sodium chloride, potassium chloride, lead chloride, copper sulfate, these are all ionic compounds where dissociation process takes place. With this, we end up today's class. I hope you have understood the concept of ionization and dissociation. Until we meet next time, stay safe and do all things well.